Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Team switch sides, and we're ready to go here for the second period of action from Arthur Valicenti Rink, the brand new home of the Thayer Academy Tigers. Second period action, it's the Thayer Academy Tigers. I think I mentioned that. They lead the visiting St. Paul's School Big Red by a score of 4-0. Sasha Teligman has 2 goals. Mike Stenberg added 2 in 16 seconds. 2 goals in the last 19 seconds of the period. And he has run starting goaltender Charlie Murphy from the game as Rocco Bryant, the backup netminder for St. Paul's, has come in between the pipes. St. Paul's has been on the receiving end of a number of beatdowns from Thayer of late. 12-0 2 years ago, and then 7-1 last year. This is a familiar scenario. A different setting, that is, but a familiar scenario for the Big Red to be in. After, well, the first period of play, trailing by a good margin of the Thayer Academy Tigers, and we have a delay here because the officials are lollygagging. St. Paul's will be skating from left to right, and Thayer will be skating from right to left here to begin the second period. Shots in the first favored Thayer by a 15-8 margin. And they were, without a doubt, a better team. And the guy that was quite obviously the best player on the ice was Sasha Teligman. He had an assist on the first Stenberg goal, too, and had 2 of his own. He's already got 3 points. And just continues to stay hot. He looked absolutely dominant out there. At the beginning of the game, he had 13 goals and 21 assists, but of course, he's got 3 more points now for his 37 total. It's nearly 1.7 points per game. Gavin Fitzpatrick between the Thayer pipes has had to stop not too many shots, but all of them have come from the outside if he has had to stop them. St. Paul's has not been able to penetrate, and here go the speedy Tigers again. I know it's no excuse, but I'm sure the 2-hour bus ride for St. Paul's did not help that start. We'll see a physical second period for sure. Thayer came out hammering bodies to start the first. St. Paul's, we'll see if they can respond. It's Manayan along the wall there. Rukanakis up high, dropped it back for Manayan on the half wall, faked the slap shot, works to the face-off circle before putting it off the end boards. Rukanakis stood up there by Hep. Those 2 big bodies collide, and there was something happening behind the play as Hep is down. He is hurt. He's dropped his stick. So something happened after that collision. And the play was halted. He must have been hit behind the play because the St. Paul's bench was calling for an interference. Face off me to the right of Rocco Bryant. It happened over to the far side. And off the face-off, Stenberg goes down, and it looks like they're going to take them both, actually. Sweet's going to go off for a trip. The power plays favored. Oh, now the benches here are trading words, as the Thayer coaches are jawing at Dan Murphy behind the St. Paul's bench, and looks like the intensity, which was lacking in the first period, is ratcheted up a little bit. We'll go to 2 minutes of 4-on-4 in the box for Thayer as Peter Kramer. So there had to be something entirely outside the face-off circle. Oh, there's Teligman. He's tripped up, and he goes down quite easily. Statheim got his stick in on him, and Thayer will head to a 4-on-3 power play. There's a lot of noise out there on the ice right now. And now I think it's Tony Amante yelling at the officials, even though his team is going to the power play. We're a minute and 3 seconds into the second period. And we've already had 3 penalties. Good thing there's 2 tiers of penalties on the big board above the ice. We'll have a 4-on-3 power play as Statheim goes into the box. The power plays in the first quite favored Thayer. The St. Paul's did not have any, and Thayer had 3. They scored on one of them. They're 1 for 3 on the afternoon. A Wednesday afternoon game, 4:30 start time. This one a 4-on-3 power play. They got it along the goal line here. Work to the back door. And a big shot blocked there by Cox. An open net to shoot at for Joseph Kramer. And Kane Cox gets in front of it and sends it the length of the ice. Heavy forecheck there on Charles Culver, who's going to have to stop and start to get back as Stosinski moves up the left side. He missed his mark on the pass, and peeling back with it instead is Mike Stenberg there. He's at his own blue line, crosses up, hits the red, and then moves into the offensive zone. Stood up and leveled there by Mick Frechette, who loses his stick in the process. It's hammered past long gain 2 and down the ice. Felt for a second like there are more St. Paul's guys than just 3 out there. It's a very extended 4-on-3 power play. There's still 50 seconds left in it. Hustling up here is Telling, he's going right to the goal. Stopped! And then firing the puck was Stenberg, but getting in front of it there is Levine. Even though the whistle blew and now Levine is hampered. He took a full speed bomb for Mike Stenberg right to the hip. As Teligwood drove the cage, he was stopped by Bryant and then took Bryant right into the goal too. Faceoff will come out to center because it was Teligwood that forced that off its moorings. To draw one by the Tigers. Rukanakis, he's going to get his wheels going right now. Flinton getting over on him. He drops it back. Going to get it back along the goal line now as passing it to him was Benayan. Rukanakis across the ice. Here is Zach Glass up high. Just jumped over the stick of Benayan. He was looking to load it up. It's Rukanakis again. Top of the faceoff circle. He shoots. Missing goal. Comes off the glass. And it's Glass who misses wide of the goal. He had some space. Here's Russell looking for the right angle on the glass. He gets it past the defenseman Benayan. Who is hit there by Cooper Flinton. It's peeled out of the pile by Manchurio. It's a 5-on-4 power play for 10 seconds. And then if Thayer doesn't score, it'll be the 3rd kill of the afternoon for the Big Red, which looks like it will be the case. So Thayer unable to score to make it a 5-0 game on the 4-on-3. If there was such a comeback for St. Paul's, which there is plenty of time, remember that one. We still have pretty much a full 2 periods left in this hockey game. Here's Hepp, puts one up off the glass, hustling over there on the far side. His own sweet, a responsitory shift here from St. Paul's with a bouncing puck. Misses Bryson Russell at the point, and it's going to go all the way back to Rocco Bryant. He'll play it to the corner for Jack Hepp. He's met quickly over there by Matt Sullivan. St. Paul's works it around, but it's a turnover in the middle. The shot! Lincoln just missed the goal, and it actually went off the teammate Thayer. Hit his body. Really was able to poke the rebound into the empty net there. Not the empty net, but certainly had some room as Bryant was focused on the initial shot. Sullivan, right side, Thayer deflected through neutral territory, and Griffin Lincoln is moving there. Well, some penalty behind the play. And it's going to go against Thayer because Thayer had possession of that puck. And it's Thayer going off for something behind the play. He's going off for a slash. Referees seem to have gotten themselves involved in this one. And St. Paul's will head to their first power play of the afternoon. Right? Oh no, Thayer. I think Thayer actually took a penalty in the first period, and St. Paul's had a power play. It just wasn't a very good one. Oh, it was an abbreviated one because it was a 4-on-4. I'm not quite sure. They've still got no goals, so they're 0 for whatever it may be. Stenberg finds his puck in neutral territory. It was just bouncing around on Stadheim, who lost it there. Stadheim gets it back, just trickled under his stick, but he'll move it over to the right side. Moving with it here is Owen Sweet. Bottom of the near face-off circle. That's where he'll stop up, takes a look around. Plays it back to the line for Halliday. Halliday back off the boards for Schubert in low. He was being checked there by Foley. Still in the near corner. Stadheim peels it up the wall. Glass will find it and send it to length of the ice. A minute and 15 remaining in the minor to Thayer. Halliday for Sweet. And then across the ice, it's Cooper Flinton stopping up just as he hit the blue line. Puts it back in low. It's picked up there by Benayan. He sends it around the boards. It'll find the stick of Flinton. Aggressive on the penalty kill are the Tigers. St. Paul's works it around. A fake shot there by Flinton, and it never made its way to Stadheim, the intended target. Telegwin instead up the left side. He shoots and scores. It's a hat trick for Sasha Telegwin, and we're not even halfway through the hockey game. A shorthanded goal to make it 5-0. They read that play well. That's what I meant about being aggressive on the penalty kill. Telegwin was positioned up high. He was in the right place at the right time to intercept that pass. And it's 5-0 Tigers here in Braintree. As everything seems to have gone sour here for the Big Red. Whew. That one shook the glass. Here is Valicenti. Hep on the receiving end of a big hit. The other way, here comes Joe Kramer. Working on Bryson Russell, trying to get around him. He nearly did pokes it to the front of the goal. It was up in the air, and somebody's going to go on for a penalty again. Is it Hep coming back? Or Russell somehow is going to head to the box for yet another time in this game. Looked like he was just boxing out Kramer to me, but at this point I think, having seen the officiating the last few games, and although Monday's game wasn't bad, we had some aberrant calls against Lawrence and Brewster, and have had some brutal ones here. Or ones that I can't see. I think I would have to recuse myself of a judge of officiating in any way, shape, or form. Because at this point, I don't even know what is and is not. I didn't see that penalty. Typically that means, or typically that I take that as there wasn't one, but there are finer aspects of the game that I can't see all the time. My job is just to read jersey numbers for the most part, as it's hammered around by Mick Frechette all the way down the ice. Oh, St. Paul's back to the kill. Thayer has not been great on the power play, but they've gotten 5 goals nonetheless. And 3 of them belong to that guy, Sasha Telegwin. 3 5-on-5 goals, a shorthanded goal and a power play goal. Telegwin's got 1 at even, 1 at shorthanded, and 1 on the man advantage. I don't know what kind of a special hat trick that is, but it's got to be worth something. Bouncing in front there on Bryant, but it jumps over the stick of Joe Kramer, and it's cleared to center by Sullivan. Here's Peter Kramer now. He'll drop it off for Mike Stenberg. He just missed the goal high and wide of Bryant's blocker side, and to come off the glass and all the way through neutral territory. St. Paul's will make a change. Rukanak is just playing with the puck at his own end right now as he has a look around. Schubert right up on him. He'll smoke him out as Rukanakis will do a lap around the cage. Schubert takes another one at him. Gives him a bump 2 behind the Thayer cage as the puck works up for Longain on the far side. Stadheim got his stick in the lane. It's Monturio now in the corner. It's away for Zach Glass to the line. Declan Longain trying to deke around Stadheim. He stops at the circle and missed wide of the far post. And it's going to come all the way around out of the reach of Foley and back out to center. Longain. Left side here is Shane Tadia. He's watched there by Mick Frechette. He had a lane to the goal. Instead, he just goes all the way around. Tosses it back to the line. It's Longain now taking the DDD pass from Foley. Longain looking. Glass, top of the near circle. He'll get it back. There's a lot of jousting going on in front of the goal. And on his back end is Cox. Standing innocently is Monturio. And of course, it's going to be the guy who ended up on his back end that's going to go to the box. So a 5-on-3 for Thayer. This is just, it seems like any time the Big Red try to be physical, they get called for a penalty. It's 5-on-3, and St. Paul's is going to count the proper amount of guys on the ice. What, this is the second or third time St. Paul's has had 3 players on the ice now? I'm sounding like a complete homer. I understand that. And I mean, partially I am. Here's Glass to the back door. The shot was missed by Foley. But it is worth pointing out, and I probably pointed it out far too many times to seem like I'm not frustrated about it. But it is worth pointing out the penalty ratio here in this one. And the types of penalties that are being called. It's a 5-on-4, and Thayer, of course, has the advantage for 1:52 more. This will be great for the penalty kill stats, at least so far for St. Paul's. They've only allowed 1 goal. They're going to call a cross-check against Hemp. So, back to the 5-on-3 we go. I've lost count. I have lost count. And St. Paul's has 5 guys on the ice. And they've lost count too. I will go over in the intermission and take a look at the score sheet and count the penalties. But we still have 9:45 left in this period. We're not even halfway through yet. And St. Paul's will take their time out. And Dan Murphy wants to have a conversation here. Luck has not been on St. Paul's side all season, and we've talked about this a number of times on the broadcast. But boy, oh boy, has that not been evident this afternoon. It's slightly amusing. When we return to play, it's Cox and Hep in the box. It's mostly the defensemen that have taken the penalties for St. Paul's too, if you go and have a look. It's 5-0 Thayer. Sasha Taligwin has 3, Mike Stenberg has 2. 4 of those goals came in the first period. We are 8:15 into the second, and I've lost count of the penalties we've had in this period alone. It's Hemp and Cox in the box. Cox will be exonerated of his crimes in 1:42 seconds. Hemp will remain in the box for a short while thereafter. And we will be getting home late tonight, I can tell you that. There's a late start to this one, and the stoppage time has certainly been I don't want to say superfluous, but there's been a lot of it, especially here in the second period. Playing catch-up at the line of Rukanakis and Joe Kramer. Joe Kramer, they collapse. A sharp angle shot there by Taligwin is stopped by Bryant. Taligwin picking the puck back up. He's got it on the half wall. Dishes it on back. That's Joe Kramer out high. Rukanakis along the goal line. They touch it in front. Lining up a drive is Peter, and he scores. And the time is running here on the board. I've just now stopped it. They're allowing those Sneckens to just squeak off now, aren't they? It's a 5-on-3 goal for Thayer, and it's 6-0. So they've let Cox out of the box, and Thayer will remain on the power play. St. Paul's gains the red line, and Schubert will just shoot it in the glove of Fitzpatrick. Oh, Stadheim stole it back there. Couldn't drive it to the front of the goal, and then he tried to pass it for Schubert, but instead it's taken away by Monchorio, who will move in. The second unit out there for Thayer. We've seen only the same 10 guys pretty much for most of this second period because it's their 2 power play units. Back glass near side, he shoots, and Bryant will make the save. They still haven't taken Cox's penalty up off the board yet, but Hep will be let out in a minute. Tony Amante directing traffic from behind the Thayer bench. And off the face-off, they win the draw. It's Declan Longain. Longain walking. On the far side, that's Foley. I'm really getting to know these power play setups pretty well. For Thayer, we've seen him enough. It's Glass, Longain. And out on the right side is Foley. It's Glass again at the circle. Longain. High slot shot comes off the glass. Glass works into Zach Glass. And then the Glass behind the net. There's Longain and Foley playing catch. Glass. Longain, the shot deflected in front. The rebound was there. It was tied up and cleared to the boards by the Big Red. 20 seconds until Hep is let go. A shot by Longain comes from the high slot, and it's stopped aside by Bryant. We'll get a whistle, and 4 new players will come over the boards for St. Paul's. I understand the score is 6-0, but if you think... I mean, Thayer dominated St. Paul's at 5-on-5 in the first period, but here in the second, the referees haven't given the Big Red much of an opportunity to climb out of a hole. It's the issue is when you have... We had some poor calls in the first period. We're back to 5-on-5. We'll see how long it lasts. Stretch pass by Culver just goes to nobody. It's Manayan backing up with it. The thing is, we had some bad calls in the first period, or there are some weaker calls, and that set a standard for the calls that we'd see in the game. And, you know, when the intensity kind of ramped up, that standard did not meet. Here's Sullivan. He put it off the post. Those standards did not hold, and eventually it just became that most plays, I guess, were a penalty. Seibold's going to send this around the ball. Coming in is Manayan. Cam Manayan muscling his way through behind the goal. Cox goes down, working on him, takes Manayan with him in the corner. It bounces up to the line. Loading up a drive there was Romaine. It goes up and off the glass. It's behind the net now. The centering pass. Swing and a miss out of the air. Kramer was trying to knock it home. Crossing the Thayer logo at center is Harrison Sweet, and he'll put the puck deep in the Tiger end. 6:38 remaining in the period. It's 6-0. Orange. We have now outscored St. Paul's by a margin of 25-1. And Telegwin has stopped the rebounds in behind him. They drive the net, and it stays out. Peter Kramer going to the front. He's got the puck again. It's Telegwin again trying to tuck into the back door, looking for 4 goals. And he's all wrapped up by Sullivan right now. He was unable to finish that one either, going to the front of the goal. He's been dominating the Big Red all night long. Here's Kramer. He shoots and misses the goal wide, and he's taken down to the ice. Penalty upcoming against the Big Red, but... is that breaking news to anyone? Here's Longain. I'm coming up with more and more sarcastic ways to tell you that there's a penalty. Flinton's going to the box here. It's just been a parade to the box for St. Paul's. I try my best. I really, really do, to give you the story of this one. You know, not through the eyes of St. Paul's, but, you know, I have my biases. But I try to, you know, really give you the story of the hockey game. And what more am I to tell you than harp on the officiating? I mean, I know it's not what the Thayer folks are going to want to hear. They're going to call another penalty against the Big Red in the middle as a Thayer player found his way down on the ice after Rukanakis.
Oh my God.
Took the shot that was stopped by Bryant. it's basically gotten to the point, ladies and gentlemen, and I try not to exaggerate. Again, I'm trying my hardest to not exaggerate and tell you this in the most straightforward way possible, but it's gotten to the level where if a Thayer player goes down, it's a penalty. It's 6-0. At some point, you can let it go, you would think. And I would be saying the same thing if it was Thayer taking these penalties. There's Telegrand, and it's cleared away by Cox. If they're up 6-0, and they're getting called for penalties, I'd be like, all right, we can stop this now. Or if St. Paul's were up 6-0 and it was still Thayer taking all these penalties, I'd probably be saying the same thing. Kramer for Rukanakis and right on back. Kramer at the circle, scores. He picks the high quarter. It's the third power play goal. And Nick Rukanakis gets his. Another 5-on-3 marker. He sniped that one for the face-off circle. Offside is St. Paul's here. I thought we had seen some lopsided officiating in games previous this season, but this is the topper of them all. Alex Levine, by the way, is not on the St. Paul's bench after blocking that shot earlier in the period. And it's just not lopsided. Backhander misses the goal here from Bennett. Not lopsided in the way that it's all wrong, but typically there's some sort of balance, but it's been entirely out of balance here from Valicenti Rink. It's Stasinski. He takes the pass up high rear. They have a new group of 5 guys on the power play. They've been pretty much alternating between the top 2 units most of the time here in this second period. Out of the boxes have been 20 seconds, but they have a new group of 5. Here's Halliday. He's on a breakaway, breaking in behind the defense and couldn't get a shot off. That's Fitzpatrick's first save, probably since the first minute of the period. The puck just bouncing away from Halliday. There's Bennett to drive, and it was deflected up by Bryant and out of play. Thayer had 4 in the first. They have 2 5-on-3 goals and a shorthanded goal here in the second and lead at 7-0. Face off to the left of Rocco Bryant. He came in relief of Charlie Murphy after the first period. It's one on by Thayer. Touched off there by Romaine. Push it on around in deep. For the third consecutive year, Thayer has put up a 7th spot on St. Paul's. Last year, that is where the bleeding stopped, but it also took them a much longer time to get there. Here's Richard. He'll drive it deep into the Thayer end. Fitzpatrick hit hard from behind there by Manayan. Overskating the puck in the near quarter there was Matt Sullivan. Intercepting it is Seibold. 2:50 remaining in a drudger. Let me rephrase that so I'm actually using English words. I was making up the word drudger from drudgery. A drudgery-filled second period. Richard couldn't reverse it in front, at least if you're St. Paul, but I don't think anyone has particularly enjoyed the second period. I mean, if you're the statistician for Thayer, of course you like notching in those goals, but in terms of a watching hockey standpoint, I don't think there's much to like in terms of entertainment out there. Manayan being forced back here, and Cox strips him of it. They ran away from him, though, and David Romaine is going to play it on around Just jumping out of the bench there so St. Paul's doesn't get called for a too many men. Behind the goal here, Statheim. St. Paul's trying to go to work. Not for long. The centering pass was intercepted there by Manayan, and it's moved away on the stick of Andrew Seymour. The first time I've called his name tonight. I don't know if it's his first shift or what. There's a shot. Ooh, the rebound here. They kicked right to Seymour. 90 seconds to play here in the period, and belted late there from behind. Maybe not from behind, but belted late certainly was Harrison Sweets. Seymour got a lick out on him here on the left wall. St. Paul's is changing. Cox had to fend for himself in low there. Coming into the face-off circle is Foley, and he is dropped by Cox. As the puck goes off the stick, and the St. Paul's defender and out of play. A late change here from Thayer. And got it in all right. Actually, no, they actually dropped that puck while Thayer was still changing. Deflected out to center there by Malone. Bussey comes up, really some friendly fire. Flinton is tripped. And St. Paul's is going to the power play, and there's some sarcastic cheers going on over there. He couldn't get away from that one. It's Tadia taking his second trip to the box. And St. Paul's into the power play. I think it is their second power play of the period. Oh, but they're going to put Russell in the box too.
What? Good officiating, bud. Good stuff. Good stuff, bud.
I don't know why. I don't know why. I don't know if he said something or did something.
Let's have a St. Paul's kid in the box at all times.
Referee just went over and said something to Russell through the glass. They might have just run him from the game. There's 4 Thayer players and 5 St. Paul's players. They're going to move the face-off out to center ice. All right, in front of us here. Can't even escape the period. There we had a little bit of a run without penalties. 58.8. It's 4-on-4. I don't know why that's not icing. Thayer just literally sent the puck to length of the ice. Referees are letting it go. They're finally letting something go. There's Flinton coming in. Puck is bouncing around on him. Flinton shoots. He missed the goal wide. It went up and off the glass. Hepp has it at the line. No, it's a power play for St. Paul's. My apologies. This one squeaks through. Throwing his hands up in the air. Bussey